Hello, this is Jen with American Knitter, and today our project is going to be a scrunchie for your hair using a knitting spool. So I have a couple of scrunchies that I've already completed, so you can see, and any color that you want. So this is the finished product. It doesn't take very long to make these, probably about like a half an hour if you sit down just from start to finish to get it done. Here is all the things that you need in order to create your scrunchie. So first of all, what you're going to need is a knitting loom or a spool, and there's a couple that you can choose from. So you have the embellish knit, which is kind of a machine, and the knitting, the little pegs will move for you, and all you have to do is crank it. However, I don't personally like this one because there's only 4 hooks, and I don't feel like it's big enough for a scrunchie. So, but if you want a thinner scrunchie, you could use this, and it would probably go a lot faster since you're just twisting instead of hooking. The other option is, I've seen these everywhere, this type of a spool, and you have 2 options with this one. This one has 8 hooks on this side and then 5 hooks on this side. So you can do either one, and then all you would need is, you could probably use your fingers, but it would be easier to use the little hook to pull the yarn over. I am going to use my personal favorite, which is this mini knitter, and it rotates so that you can hold and just spin around, so you're not constantly moving. You just use your fingers to spin it around. So this is my favorite to use for this project, so I'm going to use this one. The other items that you need is any yarn of your choice. You can do solid colors, those look really nice, or you can do yarn that changes color, and I love the yarn that changes color because then you just get a fun, colorful texture in your scrunchie. You can use any quality of yarn really that you want. I like worsted weight the best, and this is just Red Heart, and it's a great way honestly to use up leftover yarn from other projects because it doesn't take too much yarn to create one. So I'm going to use this. It's 100% acrylic, and I actually like the acrylic because it tends to stay in your hair just a little bit better. It's more non-slip than perhaps you know, with other types of yarn, like silk, would slip better or easier. Then you also need a 6.5 inch piece of elastic. The elastic that I use is a 1/4 inch soft stretch elastic. So you need, again, 6.5 inch piece of soft stretch 1/4 inch elastic. And then you need a safety pin, needle and thread. You don't need too much thread, just enough to get the job done. And then a yarn thread for finishing the piece. Oh, and of course, a measuring tape or ruler of some sort, because we are going to knit this into a, we're going to knit it until it is about 16 to 17 inches long. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, what we're going to do is make a slip knot because we need to start it. So I like to make a slip knot. So you do that by folding it over into a loop and then tucking that one underneath and just pulling it through. So you have a little slip knot there. Okay, then you take the loose end and drop it down into your spool knitter and loop one of the ends, tighten it up a bit, and bring it to the front. Okay, and now you want to go counterclockwise on the spool, but then clockwise, wrapping around each peg until you have them all wrapped. Okay, and then just move it to the front. And you want to push those down as you go. Okay, all right, and then what we're going to do is just hook that into my little feeder right there. Okay, and we are going to start. So I take my hook, then my loom, and I take the bottom, which is the looped, so this is our slip knot loop, okay, and I'm going to take it up and over, okay, and then I rotate my little knitter, okay, and I go to the next one, up and over. So the loose yarn is always on the top and the looped yarn is always on the bottom, and then you slide it up and over, okay. So you do that. We're just going to keep going here. Hook it under, pull it over, hook it under, pull it over, hook it under and pull it over. And as you can see, my yarn is already changing colors, which is so much fun because it is moving from the blue to the gray, and then it will go back to the blue again. So you'll get some nice stripes in the scrunchie with this, you know, colored yarn. So, all right, so I'll keep doing this and show you a little more as it goes. All right, so I have been knitting for about 5 minutes now, and as you can see, I've gone about 5.5 inches worth, and it's starting to come through the tube and out the bottom, and you can see the changing of the color, which is really fun. I really like the gray and the blue tones. So this, again, so far I've done about 5.5 inches. I've only been doing this for about 5 minutes. It goes pretty quickly. I like to do this when I am a passenger in a car or sitting on the train or just, you know, waiting for my kids or whatever. But it's a good way to pass your time. Okay, so it is now at 9 inches long, and it's easier to see the changing in the colors, the really fun stripes. So we're just a little more than halfway there. So it really doesn't take very long, just another 5 minutes of knitting, and I'm over already to 9 inches. Okay, so I am actually done here. I've made it to 16 inches long, and it's okay if it's a little bit longer. You're just going to get more scrunch in your scrunchie. But anyway, I've got it to 16 inches, so I'm going to take just make sure with my measuring tape, put it up about where it's starting, and just slide it along, and as you can see, I'm at about 17 inches, so I don't want to go any further than that, really. Okay, so now that I've got it to 17 inches, what you're going to do is take your scissors, which I forgot to include, by the way, you need scissors, and just snip it so that you have enough yarn to work with, and then we're going to bind this off, and this is how you bind it off. So you take your thread, okay, and you leave it on the top, and instead of looping over, you're actually going to, and I hope you can see this, but you're actually going to catch the loose thread, and then you're going to pull it, you're going to pull it through. There, I'm just going to use my fingers for this one because I caught it. Okay, sorry, I had to kind of detangle that a little bit. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take the bottom loop, okay, and you're going to catch the top thread, okay, the loose thread, and you're just going to pull it through, and then you put the loop over, okay, so that it's off. All right, and then we go to the next, and we go under, catch the loose thread, pull it through, put the loop over. Then we go to the next, same thing, pull the loose thread through, over. And again, pull the loose thread over, loose thread over. Okay, and now we're to the last one. Oops. So we take to the loose thread, pull it through, and slide over, and then I just pull it out. Okay, and what you have now is a yarn tube, okay, and so this is what we're going to use for, obviously, our scrunchie. So again, you can see the fun colors, the changing of the colors in the yarn makes for fun stripes in your scrunchie. So, okay, so now what we're going to do is get our elastic, Okay, so again, your 6.5 piece of elastic, 6.5 inch piece of elastic, and your safety pin. Okay, and you just want to hook the elastic with your safety pin and then close the safety pin. And we're going to just kind of thread the safety pin and the elastic through this yarn tube. Okay, and you want to make sure that you don't lose the bottom of your elastic into the yarn tube, because then you just got to pull it through and start over. So you just keep pushing your safety pin through till you get it all the way to the other side. Okay, so I have the elastic all the way out on the other side. So here's the side with my safety pin, and here's the side that we started on. And I am just going to safety pin these two pieces of yarn, or I'm sorry, of elastic together so that they don't come apart, because I really don't want to do it again. So just going to safety pin it so it stays put. Okay, there we go. So, and this gives you a really good idea right now also of how the scrunchie is going to look when it's completed. So I'm excited about this one. I really love grays and blues. So this is going to be really cute. So, all right, so here is the elastic. So notice I have it hooked together, okay? And now I'm just going to sew it. And it really doesn't have to be anything fancy. And don't worry about your sewing skills, because nobody is going to see this. Just need to make it so that the elastics do not come apart. So I just have my needle and thread, and I have a knot at the end of the thread, okay? And so I'm just going to put the, let's see, just find one end, okay? And I really just work the edges on this, pull it through, there's my knot, okay? So I'm actually gonna go through the thread where my knot is, okay, and pull it through to make a secure knot. Okay, and then I have kind of a long little tail there, so I'm just going to snip it. Okay, so I don't have a lot of extra thread. Okay, all right, and then I just keep working the edges. Whoops. Make sure I stay in there. Whoops. Okay, just going to keep working the edges here. Pull my yarn, or pull my thread through. Okay. Just keep working the edges, going around. And at this point you can actually take out the safety pin, because I've got it secured now with my thread. So I'm going to remove the safety pin so it's not in the way anymore. So you can see it's secured with my thread. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple more edge sewing or edge pull throughs, okay, and I'll do one more. Make sure it doesn't catch the scrunchie. Okay, and so now I've made it to the other end of my elastic, so I'm going to go to the other side of that. Sorry, it's really small, but just go over. So now I'm going to work the other edges that are not sewn. Okay, so just pull it through. So here's the side that's sewn already, and so now I'm just going to work the other side. Again, it doesn't have to be very pretty. Nobody's going to see it. You just want to make sure that the elastics are secured so that it doesn't come apart, obviously. Okay. Oops. Okay, just working it along the edge. You want to make sure you have some really good yarn here that's not going to break. Okay. Secure it. Oh, okay, that was getting tough. Okay, so I think that's good enough. I think it's going to hold. All right, so then you just do some knots. Okay. Just going to secure my thread in place with some knots. So I'm going to go through and then pull it through the thread. All right, and there's one. I like to do a bunch just to make sure. Pull it through, put it through the loop. There's two. And there's three. And I'm going to do one more just to make sure it's going to stay. And four. Okay, all right. So I'm done with the sewing part, and I'm going to clip my thread. All right, so now we just have to secure the edges together. Okay, so what I like to do is, first of all, make sure you don't pull too tight on either edge of these so that you don't end up having one smaller than the other. You want them to be about the same size, okay? And then I'm going to twist it so that the yarn is in the same spot, each thread or each edge tail, okay, of yarn. And then I'm going to just tie a little square knot so that it stays put. And don't make it too tight. Again, you don't want to pull and tighten the yarn and make it so that it's pulling on the edges, okay? All right, so there we go. I've got a square knot, and it's just going to keep my, my edges here in place, okay? All right, and then this is where you need your yarn needle. Okay, so we are going to, I'm going to just trim this. Okay. Okay, so now what we're just going to do is sew the edges together with the yarn needle. Okay, so just thread that through. Use the longer tail. Okay, so whichever one is longer, that's what you're going to do. And then to give it a nice clean edge, I go above the actual edge. So you want to go just a little bit above, okay? And then come down and go just a little bit below where the edge is and pull it through, okay? And again, just a little bit above and just a little bit below. Oops, if I can catch it. There we go. And pull it through. Okay, so that makes it so it's not too bulky looking, okay? It's just pulling these loose edges underneath, all right? So we're gonna go a little bit above and a little bit below and pull it through, okay? So I'll just keep, and then twist it around as you go. So you can see it's making a nice clean edge, and hopefully nobody will ever be able to know that that's where you've sewn it together. Okay, so I'm going a little bit over because it's a little bulky there, and I'm going to go under because I don't want the bulkiness sticking out, and pull it through. So we're going to hide any bulky edges so it's nice and smooth. Okay, so we're getting close to where we started. I'm getting almost back to where the knot is. So I just want to make sure I keep it fairly even. Don't go too far. Almost there, so you can see here's where the knot is, here's where I'm at. Almost done. Just going to finish sewing this together. Pulling it through. Okay, so now I'm at the same place where I started. So I'm actually just going to do one more just to make sure. Oops, and I pulled my yarn too hard and it came off my needle. That's okay though. Okay, so then I am going to make another knot. Okay, so I'm going to do another square knot, and this one, so I go loop under once, and this one I want to make sure it's extra secure. So I'm just going to go over and under. I'm going to loop it one more time just to give it some extra security, so it's two twists in it, pull it through, and that will hold the knot even more secure. Okay, so there we go. We have our scrunchie that is done, except for our tails. So we're just going to weave those tails in. Okay, so you just do that by threading the yarn, whoops, threading the needle. Let's see if I can do this right. There we go. Okay. All right, and so now we're just going to hide the tails. Okay, and so you just go through and come out the other side. Okay, and I'm going to do it again. Just go into the scrunchie and come out over here. Okay, and I do it about 3 times just so that the yarn is hiding on the inside. Okay, and then I'm going to clip that one, and nobody will ever know it's there. I'm going to do the same thing to the second tail. Just going to rethread the needle here, and I'm going to hide the yarn inside the scrunchie. Okay, and just one more time. Just for good. Okay, there. All right. So there we go. Put it in, and now I'm just going to trim it. And nobody will ever know it's there. And there you go. Here you have it. You have a completed scrunchie. It took me about a half an hour to create this scrunchie. Okay, so, and again, I just used Red Heart. The color that I used is called Icelandic. So, and that gives it's the gray and the blues. It's really pretty. So go ahead and have fun with these. Like I said, you can use any color you want. They're fun to make. They look great in hair. These are very non-slip, and they're better for your hair than elastics. You'll have less breakage, so there's a good thing. Nice plus to that. So you can either make your own, or if you would like, you can actually go to my store and buy the ones that I've already created. So you can see my link in the description below if you're interested in some of the scrunchies I've already created, and you can just purchase them through the link below. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great afternoon and have fun creating and knitting.